It is time for Ask Dr. Liu. Here he is. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, it could be better.
Yes. And since it's Parents' Day, happy Parents' Day.
Okay, happy Parents' Day to you.
Yes. So what would you like to say, whether as a parent or, to your parents or to all the parents out there, anything you would like to say today?
Well, many of our listeners might know my personal history or not, but I know I had some kind of hardship when I was in high school and middle school. So raised in a separated family. But now, I made a reconciliation with my daddy, and also, and without them, I wouldn't have been existing on Earth. And so being a parent, it's, now I'm a parent, and also I have a son.
Yes.
That gives me a lot of chance to more kind of gives me more understanding of how parents might have felt. So I'm really, I'm really blessed person on earth. So that's why I want to say, and also thank you, mom and daddy, and also I want to be a good daddy for my son.
Aww.
Yeah, that's my. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's so sweet that you can look back on your relationship with your parents and also kind of take that to your relationship to your son as well. So
yeah, I want to be my son's best friend while I'm breathing. so sentimental.
Oh, that's I'm sure many people can definitely take a page out of your book and really feel what you said right now, Dr. Du. So thank you for sharing on Parents' Day. Well, we're going to get into our topic for Ask Dr. Du. So what do you have for us today?
Today I'm going to talk about digital device and your brain.
Because, of course,
you're
a neurologist.
Yes, I'm a neurologist.
Yes. So this is something that's fascinating. We hear about it, we read articles about it, but I mean, it needs to be kind of, we need to learn more about this. Because we're all addicted to our devices, right?
Yeah, I am one of those kind of...
Our PD님 is looking at her device right now. She's working as we speak. Yes.
I'm going to talk about digital dementia first of all. Dementia means 치매죠, 우리나라 in Korean.
Yes.
Actually, it's a term coined by a German neuroscientist, and it refers to what can happen when kids and teens use screens too much, especially during brain development. Their decision making and focus areas, which is prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex is 전두엽인데요. 전두엽 is a frontal part of our brain.
Yes.
That is responsible for our executive function and impulse control and decision making. And this is the area where only human beings have the largest parts among all the species on Earth.
제일 큰 부분이에요.
Yeah,
in the
that's
front.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
So that part is growing during teens and kids. But too much screen time might slow that down, their development of this kind of brain. So studies show that heavy screen users, especially teens, have more trouble focusing, and they are twice as likely to show ADHD-like symptoms. Even using smartphones to calm toddlers can make it harder for them to manage emotions later.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I feel a little guilty because when, parenting can be a little bit tough.
Yes.
So when things were really difficult, when we went to a restaurant to,
We're all guilty of it.
Yes.
Yes.
When my son was really fussy and demanding, we had to show a smartphone to him. And so, but I know that even though it's related to our brain's development,
yes,
sometimes I had to do this. So that's how demanding parenting is.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So, how young was your son when you first exposed, let's say, tablets or any kind of digital device?
Maybe before 1 year old.
Really?
Yeah, but not always, because my wife is really, really anti-digital stuff.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so my son is 11 years old.
Okay.
He doesn't have any cell phone. He doesn't have any tablet. So, and then his screen time is very limited.
Oh, okay, so that's good.
Yeah, and also, we talked about how parenting it is difficult. It is.
Right.
But you know what? He has Nintendo kind of gadgets and some other things.
Yes.
But he prefers playing with me over other digital kind of gadgets or games.
역시 닭두류 다르시군요. Your family. No, even my kids are older, obviously. However, I remember, like, even for my son, like, all his friends had phones, and we held off until 5th grade. And by that time, like, I would say 90% of all his friends had phones. And then we held off until 5th grade. And then, like, I think it was like going into 6th grade. And then finally, like, we couldn't hold off any longer. We felt like, okay, since you're going into 6th grade, we gifted him his first, like, device. And then, like, but he was one of the last kids to get, and then we kind of felt at least kind of good about it. And we put screen controls. It was like 1 hour per day.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the limit. And then, like, we locked the screen. So we felt kind of okay about it. 근데도 I felt bad about it. But then, like,
you're such a wonderful mom.
I don't know about wonderful, but we tried our best. But you know, like, some of the parents, they were like, 그래도, like, you know, the fact that we put controls, they're like, 왜 그런 거 하냐고. Like, and I was like, because, like, it's bad for the kid. Right.
I dare say to all those parents who said that to you, Catherine.
Yes.
You are wrong.
Okay. See? 제가 맞았어요. Dr. Du said.
맞습니다.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this isn't just about, like, looking and staring at the screens, right? I mean, this is real issues, real problems about how kids think and feel, right?
That's right. It's kind of a screening. Too much screen time has been linked to sleep issues and also bad eating habits and poor fitness, and even it changes their brain structure. Emotionally, it can lead to impulsiveness and low self-esteem, and also over-dependence on social media. And also, there's a term called digital anhedonia. You know what anhedonia means?
What is this?
You know, hedonism. Hedonic means pleasure, joy.
Yes, so hedonism, yes.
Yes, hedonism.
Right.
Hedonism is if something like a prefix an, it means the opposite.
Like anorexia, like okay.
Anorexia or anhedonia or anhidrosis. Hidrosis means excessive sweating.
Right.
But anhidrosis, no sweating. So anhedony means no pleasure. So it's like kids get used to exciting digital content so much, so they stop enjoying real life activity.
Ooh.
So brain's reward system becomes numb.
Yes.
So that's really problem. So sometimes they confuse our real world with other digital kind of internet world.
Yes.
So a lot of some brutal kind of stories you might have experienced. You might have seen a lot of news articles have dealt with this one.
So they become kind of like numb, and it becomes an issue for kids, I'm sure. But this is for kids, right? Maybe too much screen time. But what about for adults, Dr. Du? I mean, what's the issue there?
Yeah, that's a good point. But because for kids, too much screen time is bad for brain and also their mental health.
Yes.
But for adults, it's really recommended because issue is not too because they're suffering from mental decline as we get older. And so if they don't use too much screen time, it means they are socially isolated, or they might be isolated from digital world, which means it might enhance the progression of their brain function declining. So many older people don't use the internet or smartphones because they find it really hard and unfamiliar.
Sure.
But the lack of connection can speed up the mental decline. A U.S. study over 18,000 people aged 50 to 65.
Okay.
Regular internet users had only half the risk of developing dementia compared to non-users. So we have to encourage them to use a lot of tech gadgets and smartphones. So yeah, that's really helpful for them.
It's the opposite.
It's
for
the opposite.
older adults, you're saying that maybe for seniors that you want to actually have them not be digitally isolated to
that's
use
right.
their smart devices, their
Exactly.
gadgets. Oh, so that's like the exact opposite. So how do gadgets actually help older brains then? How does it help?
Because a researcher, a scientist, neuroscientist at Baylor's University, he says that there are 3 C's when it comes to explaining this kind of a situation. First one is complexity. Learning to use new apps and settings stimulates their brain.
Okay.
So, and the second C is connection. Staying in touch with friends and family through messengers or video calls helps reduce loneliness. And the third C is compensation. Using things like digital reminders for appointments and medicine helps support memory.
So I have a question, Dr. Du. If seniors avoid screens like altogether, like no screen time, what might happen?
Well, these days, without using, if you have no idea how to use a smartphone,
Right.
you don't get to watch movie even. You don't get to book tickets for small kind of small things. Even you don't get to watch movies and baseballs and things like that.
Like culture.
And culture, even you can place an order on a kiosk.
True. Like even going to a restaurant, it can be challenging.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
And
So-
like even for younger people, even for my age, like sometimes I'm like scrolling through and there's so many options.
That's
like
right.
you choose a menu option and then they're like, do you want this, that, or the other? And then like 세트 또 뭐 추가해야 되고. Like, but if you're not used to it, you become like unaccustomed to it, and then you kind of like 포기하게 되잖아요, 그렇죠?
That's
it's
right.
very difficult. Right?
My wife is a real baseball fanatic.
Yes.
So when we went to Sajik Stadium, I get to see some older people, older adults
Yes.
complaining about they don't get any tickets. So these days, it's almost impossible not to. It's almost impossible to live, modern, civilized community without using smartphones.
Indeed. Well, we have run out of time, Dr. Du. I wish we had like 2 more hours for our segment, but we're
Okay.
going to call it a wrap. But any last tips that you would like to give our listeners before I let you go?
Okay, it's not about whether it's bad or not. It's all about balance. So let's use tech in a healthy and balanced way.
Yes.
And then too much of it, especially shorts, those kind of stimulates a raw and basic instinct that might kill your kid's brain. So I wanted to keep this in mind.
Absolutely. So thank you for the good advice, and we'll check in with you next week. Everybody, this was Dr. Du.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, we'll see him next week as well.